Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. It's a big day at Éléonore and a big day for our Cree partners as we celebrate 10 years since the signing of the Opinagow collaboration agreement. For the ones who don't know me, I am Marc Lozier. I'm the general manager at Newmont Éléonore, and I'm delighted to be with you today. Though we would have liked to gather in person, I am pleased we still managed to mark this important day and this important celebration together. I know many of you are joining from your personal computers at home, but I also know, and we can see on the screen, that our community partners have gathered in the Wemindji Community Hall, and I have some employees here at the mine who are watching from a room as well. I wish to acknowledge that we're gathered on Cree territory, and most particularly in Wemindji traditional lands. To start the celebration, I would like to start by acknowledging the late Michael Mayapo, who was the former tallyman and caretaker of the land. Much of the success of Newmont's partnership with the Cree is attributed to him, who was a great ambassador to the Cree. Today, I also want to thank his son Angus, who has successfully carried on as the new tallyman and the Cree ambassador. At Newmont, we like to start all our meetings with a value moment, and I would like to share a value moment with you today. And for our value moment, I would like to take some time to acknowledge the opening of moose hunting season, a very important time of the year for our Cree partners and indeed for many of our employees. In the coming weeks, families will go out on the land to harvest moose, and tallyman and land users will put safety and respect of the land first, as we always strive to do at the mine. We must inspire ourselves with their knowledge on how to preserve the resource while providing for their families and community members. I want to close a value moment by thanking the Cree for graciously welcoming us to your territories. We are guests in your traditional lands. Thank you for giving us opportunities to learn your history, your customs, and your culture, which will help us be better stewards and good stewards of the land where we work. Before beginning today, I would like to acknowledge and thank the dignitaries who are present, and some of them, I will list some of them now. So we have Grand Chief Mandy Gulmasti. Congratulations on your recent election, and we look forward to working with you in the future, you and your team. We also have Chief Christina Gilpin, who is the chief from the Cree Nation of Wemindji. We have Deputy Grand Chief Norman Awapachi. Congratulations on your recent election. We have Mr. John Paul Murdoch, who is a natural facilitator of the relations since the beginning and was actually on the original negotiation committee. He was actually one of the chief negotiators. We have the members of the council from the Cree Nation of Wemindji, the directors and the staff. We have the tallymen and the families. We have formal and actual members of the Opinagow committee. So we have members of the Business Opportunity Committee, the Environment Committee, the Employment and Training Committees, and of course of the COCAB that tries to manage all of the issues in the committee. We have fellow business partners such as Air Quebec, Touch, Wolfcamp Corporation, Wemindji Laundromat, Jamesian Transport, EU Communication Network, and of course WAPTM. Our partners from the Cree Nation government, such as Apatissem Skills Development, Commerce and Industry, Environmental and Remedial Works, and the Cree School Board. We also on the Newmont side have Tom Palmer, who's our Newmont President and Chief Executive Officer. We have Stephen Gottsfeld, who's the EVP of Sustainability and External Relations. We have Nick Kotz, who is Newmont's Senior Vice President of External Relations. And I have many other colleagues from Newmont who I won't name and from the Éléonore site. I also want to acknowledge the presence of José Mito, who is the President and General Director of the Quebec Mining Association and has been a great help to me since I took on this role. So to begin, thank you for all being here today. Your role and support has been instrumental in the success of this partnership. For the last 30 years, I have worked in mining and in traditional lands, but it's my first time working in EU-ECHI territory. I truly believe in the importance of this partnership, and it has been a priority for me to learn about the Cree culture and customs since I got here. In addition, to prioritize employment, training and skills development initiatives, as well as opportunities for Cree business, our agreement promotes our long-term commitment to sustainable development and respect for Cree culture. This will never be achievable without the dedication of the representative on the different committees that I've already mentioned. And I want to thank everyone who's been on the committee in the past or is currently on the committee for your commitment and your feedback that is instrumental in the way we run the business. I always say that actions speak much louder than words. And so here are some of the key highlights of our collaboration over the years. On the environment side, I'm proud to say that we've started progressive reclamation on some of the sand pits located on VC 22, VC 28, and VC 29, taking into account the traditional knowledge from the tallyman himself. I am also proud of the Cree employment that we have shown leadership, both in surface and underground operations. In fact, some of the Crees have been promoted into some of the highest positions in the mine, be it development miners or longhole drillers. As an example, in 2021, already this year, just a few examples that I picked out of the many, 2 Cree employees received training to become supervisors, and another Cree employee is now completing his training to be a longhole driller on the Simba. I'm very proud of all of them. Since the last 10 years, Newmont has partnered up with Cree business for more than $1 billion of business. The Cree business volume is maintained higher than 28% every year. So 28% of our total business goes to Cree companies. I can't list all of our Cree contracts here today, but I want to highlight the renewal of 2 recent crucial contracts, and that's Air Quebec and Wolfcamp Corporation, who have been here with us since the start, and their respective teams have shown a deep understanding of our needs and constraints, most particularly during the times of COVID. Their willingness to work with us and adapt their offers and services allows us to have a better performance, both on the financial and on the human side. It's only with the help of our partners that we can be sustainable, profitable together. A big thank you. I have to say that over the last 18 months, the relationship has truly been put to the test with COVID, and I'm very proud of the success that we've had. We've put the health and safety of our employees and families and communities first. We even put the mine into care and maintenance for 60 days, and we worked together on a gradual restart. I have to express a sincere gratitude to all of the workers, all of the Cree employees who are on the property and work a 14-14 schedule. Many of them have had to do personal and family sacrifices in order to work with us, and I truly appreciate those great efforts. So enough of me talking. As I mentioned earlier, we're joined today by many people who have been a key part to the success of this collaboration agreement, some of whom will speak today. And just to provide a brief overview of the agenda, we will have a message from the newly elected Grand Chief Mandy Masti. We will have a message from Chief Christina Gilpin. We have a message from Newmont CEO, Chief Executive Officer, Tom Palmer. We will also get to see a special video highlighting the last 10 years of our partnership. We will do a bit of fun and have some trivia with Jacinthe Lafont, who many of you know. And then we will have an open mic session so that people who are joining us from their computers will be able to submit their comments or stories through chat. Guests in the Wiminji Hall, there's a microphone. So if you want to share some stories at that point, you can come up to the podium and use a microphone to speak. And I invite you to start thinking now about any comments or stories that you might want to share during that open mic session. So on with the speakers, and I would like to introduce our first speaker. So we're very honored to have the new Grand Chief and Chairperson of the Grand Cree Council, or the Grand Council of the Cree, Iuichi, and Cree Nation Government, Mandy Masti, who's with us today. Grand Chief, you can count on Newmont's support in all of the Cree Nation's endeavors. That support begins today with this celebration of our relationship and a recommitment to continue to implement the partnership of the agreement under your leadership. I'll turn the mic over to you.
Wajak, good afternoon. Bonjour. Nishtam Gangino Yemen. Nuwajamad Mushanji Womenji Iud, Chiwashan Agaji Dan and Danjish. But Idega Mogji Bechbit everyone, Jajishim Hingod, Naska Jajis, but Mangap Shistan and how she dated him Higangani, Uganjisha, Ashka Ustashisha, Medat Bongash, Wizab Chinodon, Newmont, Nashka, Cree First Nation of Womenji. In my opening statement, I think it's very important to always speak Cree language. I'm a very proud carrier of the Cree language, and I think it's my duty and obligation to address my members in their language first. For the benefit of today's audience, I will continue in English. I would first of all like to thank you for the opening statement and for welcoming me to today's event. I really appreciate being hosted. I am sorry that I was not able to be there in person. I was required to be elsewhere, but it was very important for me to join and to address the members of WMNG as well as the team of Newmont. I am new in this role. My appreciation for your recognition of my election. I look forward to having a strong working relationship with Newmont. I am a new leader in a new capacity, but I am a leader that is very familiar with the mining industry, having previously been part of the mining negotiations in my own community. I have been closely observing the story of Newmont, as I do come from a community that has active mining exploration. And I think that the relationship between WMNG and Newmont has been one that has been an example within the Cree Nation. The JBNQA has allowed for the Cree to define their role and status within the Cree territory, as well as the rights and obligations of the members that continue to practice hunting, fishing, trapping, and the Cree way of life. I think that our ability to meet those commitments, as well as trying to redefine our role within industry, has been one that has been based successfully on mining policy. Of course, the cornerstone of these successes has been undertaken in the role of the tallyman themselves. I would also like to acknowledge our former tallyman who has gone on to leave us, and especially acknowledge the new tallyman who undertakes an even heavier role in today's transition. The use of Cree knowledge is one that is of significant importance to maintain stewardship or relationship with the territory, as well as balance the needs of the Cree members within their family on that trap line to continue hunting, fishing, and trapping. I believe that Newmont has been exemplar in their relationship, and that they have been teaching other communities what a successful relationship means when undertaking a mining project and building that relationship with the community. I've had the ability to observe the impact that this project has had on the community. It has been one that has been longstanding. I've also been very familiar with some of your working relationships and partnerships that have been a success in the Cree world. Most notably, Tawich has been really a leading force in the community, as well as some of the other entities that you've partnered with. I've personally had the opportunity to work with members of the Wolf Camp that have migrated onto other projects and have come speaking about the roles that they had in Newmont and sharing good comments and strong relations. When a project enters into the Cree territory, our rights and obligations to ensure that we continue the Cree way of life are at the forefront. I believe that any industry must ensure that they have knowledge of what that means. I think that Newmont has really gone above and beyond to ensure that they've captured that knowledge. I hope to continuously see this kind of approach, not only from members that are in the team, but also from the executive level, for them to continuously learn and gain information on what the Cree are working to protect in their territory, as well as the impacts on the Cree way of life. I must acknowledge the former leadership that have played a key role in bringing this project to fruition. It has gone on through many leaderships, both at the local level and at the Grand Council level. And I would like to thank them for continuously speaking on behalf of the Cree members and ensuring that every endeavor that we undertake in the Cree Nation territory is done with our members in mind. There have been many people that have committed a lot of time to working together, and I'm very pleased and encouraged to know that sustainable development and a commitment to that is at the forefront of Newmont's work ethic. I'm happy to hear of the successes of employees advancing in their career. I look forward to hearing of further advances. I hope that during my term, I will see successful engagement at the executive level of Cree members to be a part of the mining industry, as well as in other industries across the Cree territory. I'd like to acknowledge Chief Christina Gilpin and her team, the Chief and Council, that have continuously maintained the Impact Committee and worked alongside this company in trying to ensure that the project is undertaken with success and respect of the Cree Territory. I would also like to acknowledge Tom Palmer and Nick Cox for being present at today's event and sharing and having my participation to be included. This has been a very tough year. I'm glad that you were able to accommodate this session by Zoom. I think COVID has been extremely challenging, but has also indicated that when we collaborate, there can be much success in moving forward. And I would also like to thank Jose Metat, who I've had the appreciation of meeting as part of other tables. I look forward to working with you as well in the future. And I am very pleased to be part of today's event. So I would like to congratulate you on your first 10 years. I look forward to continuously working together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Grand Chief. Our next speaker needs no introduction to this group of assembled guests, and that would be Chief Christina Gilpin from Wamindji. Her steadfast leadership and dedication around the agreement runs deep. In a relative short time that I've been here for the last 18 months at Éléonore as the general manager, she has been gracious and welcoming. The truth is that she's taught me a lot, and I value our relationship. Chief Christina, I turn the mic over to you.
Hello. Kanyam nom south gadukshnya. Jadi wichwego I aji hep technology am datu bun ke gipsha msin hosunano don skomon. Since no guy gabet snisia jadi dukshnya. Ganji manji ga gani kan shkat kuzgana na ishu da sin sehen ga aga gibam soji bat study ga wan no siya wa speed ga na COVID aga gibam mamuji de Aku ushtuyo ga mo magibja Nashki baji dektigno zaji do degno de baya bit zonga. Hawinga gawi and ganishtum. I would like to welcome the guests that are here at the community hall to take the time to recognize the 10th year anniversary of the collaboration agreement between the Cree Nation of Wamindji, Gold Corp at the time, but now Newmont, and Grand Council of the Crees of USC, Cree Nation government. This is indeed a big milestone for all of us to have worked together. All these years, I know I've only been chief for about 4 years, but it's been quite a journey and I've learned a lot. Thank you for the great introduction, Mark. I enjoy working with you too. I'd like to welcome my Tom Palmer. I've never met him. I think he's the president and CEO of Newmont. I hope that I get to meet you soon. And Mark Lozier, he's the general manager. I've only, I think, met him once before in person, but we've had meetings together, I think since February 2020, that's when I met him for the first time. And since then we've had Zoom meetings and we have been able to work together regardless of the distance, I guess you could say. It's a long distance relationship. Also, I'd like to welcome the members of the COCAD, the collaboration, the main committee of the collaboration agreement. Those are Daniel Gay, Anthony McLeod, Kathy Moses, Jacinth Lafont is always there to assist us. And recently, John Mullally joined us in the past year. He's at the corporate office in Vancouver, and he has a lot of input in our meetings, and I really appreciate working with him. Also, Mandy Gull, the newly elected Grand Chief, I'd like to congratulate you, and I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us to recognize this milestone in the history of our relationship. Also, all the committee members, the Employment and Training Committee, Business Opportunities Committee, and Environment Committee. It has changed. It hasn't been constant with the members, but it's been. I think that they have provided a foundation for how to go about implementing the agreement, and they're a key role to how the agreement is implemented. And I also, I'd like to take this time to acknowledge our predecessors. Chief Rodney Mark, I'm not sure if he's online or if he's here. And the council at the time, they were the ones that signed the collaboration agreement 10 years ago. And they were key in negotiating the agreement. And I would like to take this time to recognize them. And also Chief Dennis George-Kish and the previous council. They did the work to continue the work that was implement the agreement, and I want to thank you for that. And he's here today. Also, JP John Paul Murdoch. He was one of the chief negotiators of the agreement. Andy Barable also, and Mark Wadden. And I know Catherine Moses also had a key role in the negotiations as well. And I'd like to take the time to thank the late Michael Mayapu. He was the one that allowed this project to happen on his territory. And he was, his vision at the time came from being concerned about the community members. He wanted the youth and the community members to have employment, and he gave the permission, and he gave up a bit of land so that can happen. I think that through his leadership and his his concern for his fellow community members. I think that's what brought us here today. And his wife, Louise, also played a key role in that. I know Louise always supported Michael in whatever the endeavors that came from this agreement. And now today, Angus Mayapu inherited that land, and his partner Stephanie, and for their continued support for this agreement. Also, the impacted land users, also Isaac and Jane Visitor, and Ronnie and Elizabeth George-Kish, I'm Fred and Beatrice Chisel, Agun Mushtad Sanzig, Nada, Anen Dohudzga, Agun Minji, Oin Skumgoga, Echtazin, the Joshinagitazin, Sionada. So I just thank the land users for their taking care of the land over there, and continuing to to utilize the land for traditional activities. The thing that I really value is these people were very instrumental in the negotiations, and they were able to establish a framework and eventually negotiated agreement that works well for all parties. And they also provided a foundation for our relationship even to this day, even though it has changed over time. Since the signing of this agreement, there has been 3 chiefs in office, 3 grand chiefs, and I believe 3 or 4 general managers. 3 I know for sure. I'm not sure when Claude Lemasson left Goldcorp. I think it was around the time of the negotiation. Our relationship has gone through many highs and lows over the years. I can say that since I have been chief, I have had the privilege to work with 3 general managers. The first one being Guy Belleau. I only worked with him for a couple months. And Sophie Bergeron, I worked with her longer. And now Marc Lausier. Each relationship has been different for sure, but the common aspect of each relationship was that we wanted to work together. This is a common concern, common goal for all of us is to be able to work together. And I really appreciate that. And they all had their certain expertise and knowledge that they have. And I've had a chance to learn from 3 general managers, which is, for me, it's, I'm privileged for that. Even though there's been high and low points in our relationship, we continue to work on it. I really appreciate the work that's been done by Newmont to help our community and provide employment for our members. I just want to remind, I want to quote the collaboration agreement. The purpose of the agreement is to establish a collaborative relationship regarding the construction and operation spaces of the Éléonore project, while respecting Cree traditional activities and ensuring the promotion of Cree economic and social development in a manner mutually beneficial to all parties. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about my first experience in learning about mining. The first time I served on an employment committee was in 2007. The Virginia Mines, the Grand Council and Cree Nation Women signed an advanced exploration agreement, and they formed committees. And one of them was the employment committee. And I remember I was really hesitant to sit on that committee. I felt like I didn't know anything about mining. I was really nervous. I was really intimidated. But as time went on, I started to learn about exploration and mining and the different phases of mining. I did quite a bit of research to learn about it. And it was because of the collaboration and the willingness to share knowledge about mining. This is where I learned. It was very scary, but as time went on, I felt that I don't have a lot of knowledge about mining, but I really appreciate the team and what they share with me. Then again, in 2011, after the signing of the agreement, I was also chosen again to sit on the Employment and Training Committee because of the fact that I was the employment officer locally, and I was working for CHRD at the time. This is when I first met people like Daniel Gay and Jacelyn Lafont, and we became friends, and now we have relationships, and And I hope that continues. I remember going to these committee meetings, and I expected them to know everything about implementing the agreement. But what I found out was that we were learning together. And we had to build strategies and create initiatives that would later benefit the community and its members. This took time. It wasn't overnight. And it took a lot of different stakeholders and different brilliant minds on the Cree side and also on the Newmont side and the Grand Council, CNG. And we learned from each other. And also the Stornoway agreement, I'm not sure what it's called, but the mine, I know the framework of our agreement with Newmont and CNG. They use that as a framework for that agreement with Miss Disney. So I know how key our predecessors were in negotiating this agreement. When I worked with the Employment Committee, they took our recommendations to have employee engagement and to have retention for employees at the mine. And they even created committees as part of their operational work so that they can promote engagement of Cree employees. It was really something to see, you know, to feel like you have that influence at that level. And they always were receptive to our ideas, and they took time to implement them. I am sure that the Environment and Business Opportunities Committee had similar experiences. I had the privilege of seeing some of their presentations, and they did a lot of work also. I know now that the COCAD committee, Opinagow Collaboration Committee, was and still is very instrumental in steering the implementation of the agreement and ensuring that matters are resolved in a timely manner. That is the purpose of that committee. And I am very honored to be part of that. I just wanted to highlight a little bit of some of the benefits of the agreement that over the years, based on the collaboration agreement in training and employment, business opportunities, education awards and scholarships, social and cultural, environmental matters, and eventually mine closure plans. And the financial contribution to the community, they have indeed made an impact to the community. Some of these examples are local committee members have been able to obtain jobs so that they can provide for their families. And some have even bought houses in our community. The Meapu Training Institute Board, which we get money from the collaboration agreement. They have initiated some projects. Thank you. That benefit students and youth. They provide bursaries, and they were able to fund driving school education. They funded that. And this is a project, we didn't have that in our community, and they were able to initiate that. And also Dodge Development Corporation, they're managing the entrepreneurial fund that has provided grants and loans to local entrepreneurs and has in turn enhanced the local economy. Excuse me, I need to take a sip. And Newmont has also funded various initiatives for food security and other local events and activities. I'm sure there are more benefits coming from this from their public relations, and we really appreciate the impact that you have made in our community. As Crees, we have had to give up something. This is not an easy topic to talk about. We allowed our land and environment to be impacted. However, we must recognize and acknowledge that we gave permission. So this is why we need to work together with Newmont so that the land and the environment can have the least impact. And they appreciate the value, they value the traditional knowledge of the land users. And I know that they work with them. The life of the mine changes over the years depending on exploration activities. As I know since I've been chief, there's been another year added every year. So we don't really know at this point how long the mine will exist. But it's very important for us that we maintain this relationship, to maintain a good relationship with Newmont and our other partners like Grand Council. And I would thank Newmont for their transparency and your collaboration. I know it's been a challenge to meet since COVID. And I want to take this time to thank them for working with our public safety department. And they have respected the self-isolation law that we enacted in our community. And they have made strides in the way that they're implementing that in their organization so that our employees are well taken care of, especially the ones that come home. And they were able to prioritize having testing so that these community members would come home and not have to isolate. And I really would like to thank you for that. And I also want to thank the current council, the Deputy Chief Art and Visitor, Councillor Bradley A.J. Georgekish, Elmer Georgekish, Ernest Tomaduk, John Paul Murdoch, and Stanley Shashwashkum for their support. And I also want to thank Cree School Board, various employees from the Cree School Board, various departments from the Cree Nation government, such as the Abbotsford Skills Development, that was previously CHRD, and the Commerce and Industry Department. Their employees have taken the time to be on our committees and to provide and share their knowledge so that this agreement can be implemented so that it can benefit all parties. I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to be here, and God bless.
Thank you very much, Chief Christina, for your wise words. I would now like to introduce our next speaker. This is Newmont's Chief Executive Officer and President, Tom Palmer. Tom and the leadership's support towards this relationship has always been strong, and I've always felt backed up when making decisions about the agreement. Tom, I turn it over to you.
Thanks, Mark. Bonjour, hello, Wachia. It is an honour to be here today celebrating a remarkable milestone. 10 years of a strong partnership between Newmont, Grand Council of the Crees, Cree Regional Authority, and the Cree Nation of Wominji. On behalf of Newmont's Board of Directors, our executive leadership team, and our global workforce, it is my great pleasure to congratulate everyone involved for 10 years of engagement and collaboration under the Opinagow Agreement. I'd like to thank our tallyman, Angus Myapo, for your commitment to sharing Cree traditional knowledge that has informed our approach working in Iwi territory. Also, I'd like to congratulate Grand Chief Galmasti for her recent election, as well as acknowledge that we are joined by Chief Christina Gilpin of the Womanji. And I look forward to one day being able to travel to your territory and to meet you in person. And hopefully that's not in the not too distant future when we can freely travel across borders again. We are here to celebrate 10 years working together, but more than anything, to celebrate a very special relationship between Newmont Éléonore and Womanji and the Cree Nation at large. There is a strong relationship that was initiated when Virginia Mines arrived in Iwi to explore for gold more than 15 years ago. The foundation of trust comes in part from the strength of the Opinagow Agreement, the collaboration committee that governs our commitments, and the committees focused on generating social and economic benefit for the Womanji and the Cree Nation. I'd also like to acknowledge the support of communities in Northern Quebec, the provincial and federal governments, along with so many people at Newmont who have continued to help build this long-standing relationship. It is not always easy being partners, and the collaboration agreement means Newmont shares the work and the challenges with the Cree, but we also share the benefits. We understand that it takes mutual trust and respect in order to build successful and long-lasting relationships. I recognise this year marks a very difficult year for Indigenous communities across Canada. After a challenging year responding to the hardships of the COVID-19 pandemic, Indigenous peoples are grieving the recent discovery at former residential schools. We grieve with you and honour the lives of the children lost. These discoveries are a reminder that Canada's process of truth and reconciliation requires our collective attention and action. The need has never been greater to listen and to learn about Canada's colonial history and to seek truth, justice, and reconciliation. Earlier this year, we launched the Global Centre for Indigenous Community Relations, which is a platform for Newmont to work towards strong relationships between Indigenous communities and the mining industry. Newmont has also committed to meeting external standards for Indigenous peoples' engagement, such as the ICMM's position statement on Indigenous peoples, which means we respect and acknowledge that we require the consent of our Indigenous communities like Womanji and the Cree Nation. We are committed to creating, maintaining and improving an inclusive workplace that supports diversity and equity in both our workforce, as well as being an imperative to the success of our industry. I am particularly proud of our employees who have helped the company understand and fully engage in enhancing inclusion and diversity throughout Newmont. From leading our engagement with First Nations to increasing gender parity and a better understanding of the impact of race in the workplace. After nearly 6 years operating at Éléonore, we are now facing a shorter mine life than we, and I'm sure you, would have liked. Nevertheless, We are focused on extending the life of the mine. We are exploring and investing within the current mine footprint and beyond to secure years of employment and shared benefits for Newmont and the Cree. We'll need your support and hard work to make this a reality. But the Cree Nation continues to set the standard for government and First Nations partnerships anywhere in the world. So I'm confident that we can find a path forward together in such a unique and special territory. In closing, I want to personally thank all of the Cree partners and the Cree leadership who have joined us today to celebrate this monumental achievement. Much has been achieved since the agreement was signed in 2011, and we're looking forward to a bright future together. Can I wish everybody a good rest of the celebration today? Unfortunately, I'm at the annual Denver Gold Forum today and need to return to those commitments, but would much prefer to stay here than attend that. But thank you all for your time.
Thanks for joining us, Tom, and thanks for your words. You know, it would be impossible for addressing words all of the significant milestones we've had over the last 10 years. There've been so many of them. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. And we hope this collection of footage that we're about to show you stirs some fond memories and does justice to how important the Cree culture, the Cree people, and our Cree employees and business partners are to us and to Newmont. So without further ado, let's look at the video. Welcome back, everybody. Planning an event as important as this during COVID is not what we had hoped for, and it's a big challenge. We would like to be together sharing stories, memories, handshakes, and even a hug or two, because we all like hugs. The team at Éléonore wishes you could be at the mine and see firsthand all the aspects of the operation that we know are important to you. I also wish I could be there with you, and I really want to make a visit, especially when COVID finally gives us a chance. It is being together in person, implementing each chapter of our agreement that has made the relationship successful. Since we cannot do that today, we did want to leave some time in the agenda to hear from you. If you have a memory, a story you would like to share, I love stories, please come forward. I would like to hear about your experience in collaboration, your view of the relationship, what makes you proud of the agreement. Attendees in Wemindji, you can step up to the mic if you want to say something, and virtual attendees can write their comments on the chat, and I have a couple that I'll read in a second, and we'll read them all out loud. Newmont, Grand Council, and Wemindji partners are here to listen. So if you have something you want to say, please step up to the mic, and I'll take a minute to read some of the comments we've received on the chat line. So we have a message on behalf of Air Quebec, congratulating us for over 10 years of partnership between the Cree Nation of Wemindji and Newmont. And they want to thank us for the business we've provided since the beginning of the mining project. We also have a message from José Matteau of the Mining Association thanking us for inviting her today, and thanking her and looking forward to working with the new Grand Chief and Council in the future, as well as with the mine. Thank you, José. We have a message from Alun. Congratulations to the Cree Nation of Wemindji and Newmont to the 10th year anniversary of the Opinagow Agreement. ECN is proud to be part of this partnership. I don't know if anyone else wants to say something. This is your opportunity. Alfred Loon was the last one, sorry. The last message was from Alfred Loon. There's a message from JP Murdoch saying great job on the video. Thank you, JP. I also have a couple that have come from meetings lately, so maybe I'll just read those. I have recently, with the help of Wapton, we realized a perception survey in the group, in the population of Wemindji, in the Wemindji community. And a set of recommendations was developed from this survey, and we're eager to start implementing them with our partners, especially the hiring of an implementation and liaison officer based right there in the community, working with Jacinthe. This resource will help us in engaging with a larger population in the planning over the years to come. Because yes, there's still many collaboration opportunities to come, and I think we're just starting. Lots of work we can do. Training, promotions of mining careers to the youth, opportunities for business development, progressive reclamation, taking into account biodiversity, continuing to work with the Tallyman and all our partners. I think there's lots we can still do. At the last AGA, we received a suggestion to provide financial planning sessions to employees in order to help them prepare for the future. And we're going to give this mandate to the Employment and Training Committee. In fact, we already have, and I look forward to seeing what they can come up with. So thanks for that feedback from the community. Does anybody in the room want to add anything?
Am I on?
Yes.
I can't see myself. Oh, okay, cool. Hey, Mark.
Hello.
I had the pleasure of meeting Mark there. Hey, Mark. A couple of weeks ago. It was a real pleasure. My name is David Bull. I'm the director of Wolf Camp. And on behalf of Wolf Camp, I just wanted to say it's a real honor and a pleasure to have the opportunity to have a nice contract at Newmont for the next 5 years, doing the housekeeping and janitorial business on site. And it's amazing working with Mark and his executive team on site, which is Benoit Bégin, Daniel Gay, Sylvie Charette. My heart goes out to her every day. She's a rock star, that lady. So you can pass on the message. I don't know if she's listening in. And my assistant director, Yannick Hubert, he's the heart of our team also too. I just wanted to acknowledge them because I'm really excited about this business. The housekeeping and janitorial business is very new to me, but I have an awesome team over there. We have an awesome partner, and I just wanted to say that because we just renewed our contract just in January. And because of COVID, we didn't get a chance to have a big signing party or anything like that. So when I heard about this happening, I said, I just wanted to come, get on the mic and acknowledge our appreciation for the opportunity to be able to learn more about the and that's it. So, ciao.
Hey, David, thank you very much. I have to say that your staff also does the catering, and I have to tell you that I'm not losing any weight working at Éléonore. You guys do a fantastic job feeding us. The food is next to none here. And I'm very impressed with the cleaning. So thank you very much. I'm very happy with the relationship we have with Wolf Camp.
Budget. Oh, good. Am I on?
Yeah.
Okay. I see a lot of new faces with Newmont since the last time I worked with the mining staff. Well, for those of you that know me, I'm the previous chief. I was there before Christina. I just wanted to acknowledge all the work that we've done from day one with Newmont, Gold Corp, and Newmont. Lately, I've been polishing up my hunting skills. This is where I am right now, but I do follow work that's been happening here in Newmont, and also especially with the mining people. I just wanted to mention one of the last Chief Christina mentioned about the agreement that we have with Newmont. From day one, there was a lot of questions being asked. As chief, I've been asked not just from the Cree Nation, also with other nations across Canada, wanting to know the relationship we have with the mining companies. And I was invited in Whitehorse, Yukon, and the questions, the many chiefs that were there at the conference. I must say, I was a bit surprised. They were sitting at separate tables, and when the question was asked how we work with the Cree Nation itself overall, as you know, we do work collectively with the Cree Nation as a whole, with other communities. And just before I went to Yellowknife at the COCAD, we decided that the agreement itself can be put on the internet where people could see. The only thing that was removed was the financial clause. Right away when I got there, that was the first question they asked me, and I told them it's on putting it on the internet where everybody can see. They were quite surprised. And when I got to Yellowknife, like I said, I met a lot of people over there regarding First Nations people. And I told them how we work collectively with not just mining, overall with the Cree Nation, what's happening in our community, UC. It was October when I met, when I was in the Yukon, and I received an email the end of February, I think, the following year. My surprise, all the chiefs that were there had a meeting with all the chiefs regarding the mining, what's happening in the Yukon. They managed to work together with the mining companies in the area. And the only information I gave them was the questions that they had at the time. I told them, look at our agreement. It's going to be online. Maybe something that you can guys work out with other mining companies. And it so happened, I received an email thanking me about my first of all the presentation that I did with the First Nations people, and also they were looking at our agreement, how we work together in partnership with mining people. Again, as chief, it was always difficult to work, with the community, especially with many of our people are, as you know, still out there harvesting for the winter, still living off the land. Because at this time of the year, like I think it was Mark that mentioned, this is that time of the year where everybody, it's not just harvesting. It's at one time there was a time to start making a dwelling for the winter. It's all the teachings are still going on today, and it's still happening. A lot of young people are still pursuing, helping out their parents and grandparents. And I just wanted to acknowledge all the work that was done from previous years, and all the people at Chief and Council, and also with the partners, the staff that we have in the mine. Chip. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those comments. JP, who always helps me and supports me, just sort of reminded me, JP Murdoch, that just to remind everyone that we did spend over $500,000 getting a PCR COVID-19 testing machine in place to accommodate Cree workers. And I know Christina sort of already talked about this a little bit, so they wouldn't have to self-isolate, but it quickly became very apparent that the measure actually did a lot to make the mine safe for everyone, not just Cree workers, but also all Newmont workers. And we increased our testing protocols increasingly. In fact, we're still testing 3 times, 4 times a rotation to make sure, even though vaccinations are getting much higher. And I think it's another example of how we can proactively work together to accommodate the community, but also all of our workers everywhere. So I'm not sure if there's any other comments, but I think I'll close it off. Oh, that somebody else is coming up, so we'll wait.
Hi, Mark. Congratulations. Yeah, it's Frank Hetzenaya. I'm with the Dutch and VCC. Okay, Steve. Well, I'd like to congratulate okay, so
Neither are we. Sorry, in the room.
People and all that, so.
We didn't hear half of what Frank said. We sort of lost the stream there.
There's an echo.
Ah.
Okay, I'm told to try again. You know, I think this would be very good, the echo, if we play on a bingo night. As I was saying, Mark, I was telling the people that we came to an agreement with a road contract for 5 years, so which I really appreciate, and our team from DCI. We appreciate the collaborative efforts that we make, and I'm hoping we're going to continue building our relationship and all that. So continue building on, develop more other contracts we can have with you guys. So I just want to thank you for that. So, and I know sometimes it's not easy, like we don't see eye to eye sometimes, but at the end of the day, when we agree, that's the main thing. So we both leave with, we're both happy with the resolution and when we discuss things. So I want to thank you for that. So again, congratulations, and I hope we continue and make things better for everybody else, like as partners. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. I have to say that a good discussion we always have together, and it always comes down to better works. And so I'm very happy that we come to an agreement with Touch over the road contract. And at the same time, I just want to say that Brent has also come on, Brent Blacknett, to congratulate everyone on the agreement as well. I see there's somebody else at the microphone.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bradley A.J. Georgekish, counselor for Cree Nation of Wemengee. I've had the honor of serving our community since 2009. I just wanted to come up and share briefly. I'll do my best to keep it brief. I tend to get wordy when I'm nervous or excited. No, but in all seriousness, I just wanted to sort of share the changes and the growth that I've witnessed since 2009. It's very easy and feels very good to come up and acknowledge, all the wonderful experiences and all the happy endings. But I just wanted to take a minute to acknowledge all the difficult times too, the disagreements, might even say quarrels from time to time. We've faced difficulties like racism in the workplace. Some of our people have felt the pains of discrimination, but somehow we've managed to work through it. We've worked together, and it's not always roses and wonderful times. And I wanted to acknowledge all the hard work and the dedication that goes into solving those kinds of issues and working through them. I wanted to thank Newmont and the companies that it was before Newmont for having an open heart and open mind, and understanding that as people of the land, we didn't always speak or understand in terms of money or profit or bottom line. We spoke of ancestors and animals and connection to the land and how important those were to us, and expressed that we were letting you into our home to do the work you needed to do. And it took some time, but I feel like Newmont understands it now. I feel like they get it. and I feel like more and more it's being respected. So my point is, I want to acknowledge the difficult times, the challenges, the battles, the negotiations that led to the result. And I want to acknowledge all the people behind the scenes, because often it's, you know, managers and executives and chief and council that get pats on the back, and but it's the ones in the boardroom and the ones with mud on their boots that do the real hard work, and they deserve to be acknowledged too. So that's the end of my speech. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. A couple of messages have come in on the web. First of all, from Aurora Hero, congratulations on this milestone. All the best for the years to come. There's a message from Anthony McLeod. Congratulations to the Cree Nation of Wemindji Newmont on your well-deserved success from the Department of Commerce and Industry team. And I think just before we go to the trivia, I just want to quote something that Catherine Moses said, because I really like it, and I think it's a good way to sort of close off this session, is as one of those brilliant minds the chief mentioned, who has been there from the beginning. I just wanted to say that even though there's been a lot of different people involved over the years, the overall goal has always been the same: to work together. May we continue to strive to work together, to be better, and to do better and to be better. Happy anniversary, everyone. I think those are very wise words. And I'll turn it over to Jacinthe to do the trivia now, if that's okay.
Wajia, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm so pleased to be with you today. So sad that we cannot be together in the same room. Hope you enjoyed the gift that we have sent over to you by mail prior the event. It's like if we were sharing tea and blueberry together at a cultural site at the TP during a committee. I can't wait to go back in the same room as you guys. So in the package, you'll find that book as well. When we discover that book, when we first hear about that, Caring for Iyuishi, written by Wemindji leadership and their collaborators, we were like, wow, we got to read that. Very eye opener. If we want to learn what is all about the Cree way of life, the land, like Bradley was talking about, talking from the ancestors and the balanced development, this is where to start. So for your information, everybody here on the event today have received their copy of this. Very eye opener. So now, one of the things that I've learned from the Crees, from my Cree fellow partners, is to remember to laugh. So let's start with the trivia. I'm gonna walk you through some question on the achievement of the last 10 years. And we will see together if you remember some of the milestones, or some of the details. Okay, let's go to the first question. So according to you, how many summits were held to date? 1, 4 summit, 6 summit, or 2 summit? The correct answer is 4 summit. There was 1 in Val-d'Or and 3 in Wemindji. Normally, we aim at having to have a summit every 2 to 3 years. Second question now. Many people are still asking me, what does COCAD stands for? We know it's an acronym, but what does that mean? So here are 3 potential answers. COCAD stands for Cree Opinagow Collaboration Agreement Development Team. Collaboration with our Cree Awesome Development Partners. Committee of Crees and Developers. So according to you, which one is the good one? So the correct answer is the first one on top. COCAD means Pre-Opinagow Collaboration Agreement Development Team. This name was given during the negotiation of the agreement, and it was kept after, even after the agreement was signed. So when we hear about COCAD, it's the Collaboration Committee of the agreement. Now let's go to the third question. So what are the two roles of the COCAD? What does the COCAD does? So first, it's a permanent forum for collaboration, for cooperation, for open exchange and coordination between the parties. Is it an harmonious and efficient implementation place to manage and to follow up on the agreement? Is it to evaluate the effectiveness of the control? Or is it to examine the involvement of the Newmont Éléonore manager? So if we think about it, what are the two roles of the COCAD? So the correct answer is A and B. Actually, the COCAD is the leading committee of the agreement, where the partners sit together to share, to coordinate, and to manage different initiatives coming from the implementation of the agreement. A great tool for the COCAD is the annual report that each of the committee prepare each year to present their performance COCAD. So this way COCAD can see how is the agreement is being implemented by the different committees. So you guys are still following me? Okay, so let's go to the fourth question. This one is an easy one. How many chapters are in the Opinagow Collaboration Agreement? Come on, Mark, I want you to answer this one. So is there 5 chapters, 10 chapters, 8 chapters, or 7 chapters? Jean-Paul, don't tell him the answer. The good answer is C. There is 8 chapters in our agreement. There's training and employment, business opportunity, social and cultural, environmental matters and closure, education awards and scholarship, financial matters, and general and final provision. The 5th question now. Okay, true or false? Each committee of the agreement has a role to play, which is to ensure the respect, the preservation, and the promotion of culture. Is that true or false, according to you? Well, it's totally true. The culture is part of each decision taken by the partners. That's why it's so important that we maintain this relationship that we have with the Tallyman, Mayapo, with the Tallyman, Visitor, and Ronnie George Kish, and the land users as well, Fred, Beatrice Chizo. I'm not gonna name them all, but they're very, very crucial to the stewardship of our operation. I want to thank them today. So the respect and promotion of the Cree culture is at the core of our relationship, and each committee talk about culture. Let's go to the 6th question now. Okay, this one will be an easy one for the Cree Nation. In what year was the Opinagow Agreement was made public by the Cree partners? So at a certain time, our Cree partners came up to us and say, let's make that agreement public. Wow, that was the first time a First Nation was coming with this idea. So was it in 2011, in 2014, 2015, or last year in 2020? So I'll give you some time to think about it. And the correct answer is C. In 2015, the public release of the agreement was made to engage Indigenous communities and the mining industry to work together to develop a successful relationship and long-lasting partnership. So we thought, why don't we should share what we're doing? So this is what we did. And it was an idea of the Cree. Still visionary. So now let's go to question 7. In 2014, I think at that time it was former Chief Dennis George Kish, who was sitting on the COCAT. 2014, the COCAT decided to do a contest to select the name for the housing complex at Éléonore. So they did a contest in Womenji and with the Éléonore employees. And they asked them, suggest us some name for the name of the permanent camp. So what was the name? What is the name today of the permanent camp? So we have the Roberto camp, the Mayapo camp, Chayakwishi, which means Bears Hill, or Michael's Long House. What do you think we named the permanent camp? What was the most popular name? So the correct answer, you have it, it's B, Mayapo camp. Former tallyman, late Michael Mayapo, is honored at the Mayapo camp. We have a fabulous piece of art made with stones picked up from Iyuishchi by a Cree from Womenji, Mr. Murdoch, and we will give back this piece of art at the end of the mine life when we will close the site back to the Mayapo family. So naming the complex in honor of Michael only makes sense to the employees and to the Womenji community members because this is the name that came way up front in the suggestion. So Michael Mayapo camp. And finally, the last question. In 2019, at the last summit in Womenji, what did each participant group had to build together, okay, around the table? I don't know if you remember. You guys built a teepee, a canoe, a mine shaft, or a mitogan. You remember? It's not like it's not on the screen. Yeah, the correct answer is A. The guests were asked to build a mini teepee with sticks and a rope in 20 minutes. So the lodge had to resist to under the fan for 10 seconds, just like if it was the strong wind from the north. So the main objective was to promote collaboration, learning from each other, creativity. The interesting part about it is that the elders that took part of this activity, they were the one telling the youngest people from Éléonore or from the community how to build the teepee, and they were watching and they were laughing. That was a great activity. Shnaskum na, everyone. In closing, it's just a real pleasure to work with you from all those years. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacinthe. So I want to thank everyone who has contributed in one way or another to the success of the partnership. I'm very proud of the relationships we've had, and I know we've set a high standard in our industry in the way we've worked together to create shared value in a responsible way. But I know we still have a lot of work to do. I look forward to continuing to work with you to build our path forward in a way that generates value for everyone. And I also hope we can gather together in person in the near future, whether it be here at the mine or in the community. To close, I would like to play a very special video. In fact, to me, as I listen to it many times on the weekend when I'm here, I'm very impressed with this video. This video was produced by the Cree School Board in 2016, but is still very actual today. When I listen to this song written by the youth of Wominji, it reminds me of why we commit to responsible mining in partnership with the Cree Nation. It is to leave something sustainable behind for generations to come while preserving the environment and the traditions. I'm going to try a little bit of Cree language here and say that the name of the song is Mimasun, and in English it means life giver, and I really love this song. So thank you for attending today. I look forward to meeting you in the future. And here comes the video.
When we have the hunger for food, they're out in the bush, always hunting for moose. And now I'm always looking for something to do. I should be on the land feeling young and true.
My mother always carried me, and though I broke some rules, she was fair with me. Worked 2 jobs and always there to feed. I'm so grateful because of you I dare to dream.
I support the man through his blood, a good example for his child to learn and trust. Told me to think twice when it came to drinks and drugs. It motivated my life and now I'm filled with love.
I wanna chase every dream, go to college and take a chance. One promise that I will keep, I'll show you who I am. Show the world how time turns us into providers. I will be a big majiki wasu. I know sometimes this life hurts, I won't give up, I'll fight first. And I'll be a big majiki wasu, wasu.
We talking. Those are the ones I love to have around. They always help when I'm feeling sad or down. They make it easier in tough situations, and they are there for me with no hesitation.
A provider of wise words, protector of culture, leaders of time's work. They're walking and teaching, talking and preaching about the land. They say it's the strongest of freedoms.
Director of the righteous path. Without you, it's hard to keep my life on track. You show me things that no one else will ever. Your word I trust, and your story I will tell forever.
I wanna be young and free, as long as you let me try. One promise that I will keep, and show you what. Let's show the world how time turns us into providers. I will be a big majiki wasu. I know sometimes this life hurts, I won't give up, I'll fight first. And I'll be a big majiki wasu, wasu.
تنشكومن النيرة تشامندو لأن جايش وابتيد جايش بماتشيو أباجمين مشكو شيونيو تجيوي جبوم تامغو وجي
The generation nowadays are kinda struggling and everybody sounds afraid. Let's make the right decisions. Are you down to change? Cause when I grow up, I wanna say I found a way. Now I'm right here, ready to fix the broken. I'm trying to say, what is it spoken to everybody out there who couldn't get me open? This is my revelation, let me live the moment.
I wanna chase every dream,